What's going on, everyone? Today I am really excited, as usual, about this video. It is one of the most pivotal steps that every single prospective pharmacy resident must go through. It's kind of scary, a little bit of fun, but man, the entire black hole, we call this, residency matching algorithm is based on this. And by this, we're talking about the submission of your rank order for pharmacy residency programs, aka your future. No pressure. And since I'm releasing this video tomorrow, which is on March 3rd, the deadline for submission for phase 1 is in 3 days. 3 days, isn't that crazy? March 6th is the deadline for phase 1. And you guys probably don't care now because we all want to match for phase 1. Is on April 5th, so still a while away. So with that said, today in this video, we're going to talk about the factors to consider when you're finalizing that residency list, that final list. So let's go ahead and cue that intro. All right, so I'm actually going to go ahead and share some of my perspectives today, and then afterwards we're actually going to have different perspectives from some of my friends, one of which we're going to get a live commentary from Mr. Dennis, and then we're going to have a couple of comments that I'll share that my friends posted on Facebook. All right, so I'll kind of begin with mine. There's kind of 4 factors that I kind of want to mention, but 3 that I really want to elaborate on. The first of which is program prestige. I think this is one that's very common and a lot of students talk about. It was probably the most important factor for me when I was evaluating PGY1s, but as I went into PGY2s and even now, it's not a factor that I strongly consider, And the reason why is I feel strongly that it's not about where you did your program, it's more so about what did you do in that program. So that to me, program prestige is not that important, but I did want to mention it. Now, these were more important for me as I went to PGY2s, and I wish I would have applied them to PGY1s. The second factor is people. So with people, the program could be very well known. It could have, all the perks, all the bells and whistles, like everything great about it. But if you don't fit in with, the people, the culture, the organization, then, it's not going to be great. It's not going to be good. And this obviously applies to more than just residencies. It applies to jobs in general. But people that you connect with, people that share the same mindset with you, goes a long way in terms of allowing you to excel in a program. It's like a synergistic relationship. It makes you pumped. When it's a synergistic relationship, it makes you excited for the day. You want to wake up, round on patients at like 3 a.m., take care of those patients, save lives. Like you're pumped. Or stay late. And talk to preceptors about your rotations, your projects, and your future goals. It's a great relationship and experience with the people. My third factor is experienced programs and veteran mentors. So I believe that a key determinant to success in anything, and in this case, residency programs, is consistency. When a program is established, you have an idea of the type of graduates that come out of those programs, the caliber of those residents that graduate. When programs have a track record of producing a high quality, high caliber resident, that is what I was attracted to, and I wanted to be a part of that consistent output of strong candidates and strong residents. So that was important for me, and there was a way for me to judge this as well, was like just looking at where those graduating residents were going to, like the type of interviews they got, the job offers they got, where they were going for PGY2s, things like that. That helped me judge the program, and just word of mouth, you kind of know which programs are really good out there. And then for my last factor, my fourth one is marketable opportunity. So for example, like if you're interested in critical care and you want to be a critical care pharmacist, and there's no critical care rotations or just opportunities in critical care in general, then maybe it's not a program you want to rank high. Or like if you want to go into academia and there aren't much teaching opportunities or research opportunities or teaching certificate, maybe you'll rank those lower. This factor for me was really strong. Maybe not so for some of you guys out there, but for me, especially in informatics, I personally feel that deliverables are very, very important. When we go out looking for jobs, it's a lot of times based on your experience of what you've done, the type of projects that you did. And this was important for me because many informatics projects is dependent on the time you matriculate into the program. So let's say you love automation or you love clinical decision support. Just because you want to implement like brand new smart pump or implement a new EHR, if they've already done it or they don't have the budget to do it or it's not slotted for this time frame in which you're doing your residency, then you won't get the opportunity. It's as simple as that. So one of the really strong points for me was really evaluating what projects I could embark on and I can take on and have as a deliverable for me as I apply for jobs after residency. And the types of experience I was really looking for was opportunities, marketable opportunities that were both challenging and also in alignment with my goals. At the time, and it still is, my interest is in clinical decision support for antimicrobial dosing. I did that, actually ended up doing that at my PGY2 site at University of Utah, and I actually do that now at my current job. So those are kind of my factors, and now I'm going to kind of shift over and give you guys some different perspectives. And like I said earlier, my colleague Dennis is actually going to give a live commentary in a little bit. But before I get to that, I wanted to share a couple of comments from my Facebook feed about what other people thought. So the first one is from Matthew. He says, weekend staffing and location, certainly very important factors to consider, and also those are part of mine as well. We have another one here from Ken, which is kind of funny. The likelihood that your staffing commitment will change throughout the year. And in his case, he said increases. So I think we hear stories about this, your staffing commitment, how many times you're expected to staff, and you don't want it to increase, you kind of have contracts. So we've heard stories about that, so that was kind of interesting. And then the third one here is from Andy, who I'll call Mr. Anderson. He says, the amount of self-inflated sense of importance, genuine interest, and kindness on the part of the interviewers. So he probably had some pretty mean or rude interviewers. I'm probably fortunate I didn't have any of those, so I was lucky. But of course, that's kind of like the fit, you want nice and genuine people. And for the fourth one, we have one from Talu. So she says, fit with personalities encountered while interviewing, and positions secured by graduates of the program. So both of those were actually part of my major factors as well. So of course I agree with those. All right, so that was kind of it for the Facebook comments. Now we're gonna shift over to Mr. Dennis. And we actually, if you guys watched my last video, we actually just moved into this apartment together. And it's a little messy, we're still unpacking. So we're actually gonna do the filming out in the lobby of the apartment. So let's cue up that footage.
So Brian asked me kind of what are my major points in terms of ranking my residency when I was doing it for my PGY 2 year and perhaps my PGY 1 year. I think my 2 points that I have in mind that really relate to each other are the program director and the program opportunities. And so the first one, program director, what I was looking for were program directors that really would give me the opportunities that I would want. Maybe they weren't available initially at the interview, but they could be potentially available based on some negotiation and some flexibility in the schedule. So basically a program director that would fight for me and kind of my desires as a pharmacy resident, related to my future career or my future PGY2 residency. So that was kind of my number one criteria was, how I felt about the program director, whether I could get along with them, whether they'd be a champion for me. And so that was critically important in terms of my ranking. The other related to that, the other aspect related to the program director was the opportunities at the institution. And so during my PGY 1 year, I know I wanted to be in informatics, so I knew having informatics rotation and having informatics related preceptors were important to me. And in my PGY 2 year, I knew I wanted to do something big related to an informatics project. And so PGY 2 year, I wanted to have that opportunity to bring up a brand new hospital, have that experience on my resume. I also wanted to have a broad experience within the electronic health record. And so that's kind of how I chose my opportunities and ranked my residencies. I think overall, how I ended up ranking my residencies is based on basically the combination of those two, as well as how overall I felt about my ability to make a lasting impact at the institution. I didn't want to just finish residency and move on to a career. I wanted to finish residency, establish some kind of a legacy, establish some kind of history with the program that I could always look back upon, that I can always, talk to people about, 10 years down the line about what we've done at that organization. And so those were kind of my overarching criteria for ranking and rating my residencies right before match.
All right, guys, so that's kind of it for this video. If you like the content, definitely smash that like button. That's like the new thing to do now in 2018. Subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment. Let me know what are some of the factors that you guys considered when doing your final rank or list. All right, guys, until next time.